This CCTV footage captures a shocking moment at 7:30 p.m. one evening. Crime reporter Martin Kok exits a hotel when suddenly a man sneaks up behind him, points a gun and pulls the trigger. But incredibly, nothing happens. Did the gun jam, or did the man hesitate? Although completely unaware, Martin walks away untouched. He would not escape his fateful death later on. But who were the people behind this attempt on the life of the famous crime reporter in the Netherlands? This leads us into the incredible story of a young boy who plunged into the underworld and became involved with the most freaked kingpin. This boy is Zakaria A, who would later be known as the shooting pizza delivery guy. In the warm city of Utrecht, in a neighborhood called Dommeringreicht, a young boy named Zakaria A dreamed of escaping his humble beginnings. Born in 1993, Zak, as everyone called him, lived with his mother in a modest apartment following his parents' divorce. His father had left him when he was just a toddler, leaving his mother to raise him alone. Zak's early years were influenced by the streets of the neighborhood, known for its troubles. He and the local kids spent their days roaming the area. They filled their time playing soccer in alleys, biking through its winding paths, and occasionally causing mischief to stave off boredom. As a teenager, Zak started to search for ways to support his family. At 16, he got a job at a nearby pizzeria, spending his evenings delivering pizzas on his old bicycle throughout Utrecht. The job, paying about €10 an hour, provided him with some pocket money and a sense of responsibility. However, he soon realized that his earnings were not enough for the lifestyle he desired. In Dommeringreicht, good jobs were hard to come by. Making quick cash from selling drugs was really tempting. Zak's friends, many of whom had dropped out and couldn't find steady work, often bragged about the easy money they made. Initially, Zak was careful, well aware of the dangers of drug dealing, like getting caught or worse. But the chance to make more money than he did delivering pizzas was tough to pass up. So Zak decided to go for it. He started small, nothing too noticeable. Soon, the extra money started rolling in, and Zak quickly got hooked on how easy it was to make more cash. Zak started dealing drugs on the side, keeping things quiet and not making waves. He kept up his pizza delivery job, using it as a cover. Over time, Zak got bolder and began dealing various kinds of drugs. He made more money and began to change up his lifestyle. He dressed better, swapped his old bike for a scooter, and even started saving for a nicer apartment for himself and his mom. As he got deeper into the drug scene, Zak made connections with others in the local underworld. He and a few other guys who wanted to move up in the drug world teamed up. This network helped Zak grow his business and build a name for himself as someone dependable. One day in July 2014, Zak's life changed dramatically. This is the incident that would later earn him his notorious nickname. He and another dealer named Khaled had a disagreement over some goods, leading to a heated exchange of texts and calls. However, none of that helped, and it only seemed to raise the tensions between them. They decided to resolve things in person. Zak, feeling unsure, took a weapon with him. He arrived at the agreed spot on his delivery scooter. Khaled was already there. Their face-to-face argument soon turned violent. In a panic, Zak pulled out his gun and fired several shots. The shots rang out in the alley as he quickly escaped on his scooter. Residents around the neighborhood called the police, but by their arrival, both Zak and Khaled had fled. The incident left witnesses confused, providing the police with conflicting stories. This was the moment Zak became known as the shooting pizza delivery guy. The following day, Khaled went to the police, accusing Zak of shooting him and claimed he had struck Zak in self-defense during their scuffle. With the suspect identified, the police began their search and arrested Zak 9 days later. He claimed self-defense, but the investigation was tangled with inconsistent testimonies and scant evidence. Ultimately, Zak was sentenced to a year in prison, half of it suspended. He knew that if he were to continue in the criminal world, he'd need to be much more careful and strategic. When Zak was released from prison, his reputation within the underworld had only grown, fueling his ambitions. He reconnected with an old friend, Anwar, who was also dabbling in petty crimes. Together, they started hanging out at the Platinum Lounge, a popular cafe among up-and-coming criminals eager to make their mark. At the Platinum Lounge, Zak made connections with influential figures in the criminal world, including a notorious crime boss named Ridwan Taghi. These new relationships opened doors for him, allowing Zak to expand his operations and ascend the criminal hierarchy. On June 22, 2016, at around 21:50, a man named Ranko Sjekic was killed in Utrecht. Ranko was a criminal about to provide the police with a statement regarding an investigation into Ridwan Taghi. A year after this incident, an anonymous tip led the police to tap Zakaria's phone, and they raided his house. They discovered guns, tracking devices, and encrypted phones. They also found the scooter and linked it as a getaway vehicle used during the hit. Zakaria insisted that he was holding these items for someone else and denied any involvement in the shooting. He was arrested, but due to a lack of evidence, he was only convicted of illegal gun possession, which resulted in a 9-month addition to a previous sentence. While serving time, Zakaria did not just pass the days idly. His connections in the criminal world, especially with Ridwan Taghi, deepened. On March 28, 2017, more drama unfolded as Zakaria was arrested in his cell, suspected of being the shooter in the hit-on crime reporter Martin Kok. This is an unbelievable story. It's December 8, 2016. Crime reporter Martin Kok was in the Citizen M Hotel in Amsterdam. CCTV showed a man stalking him, then something mysterious happened. That evening, around 7:30 p.m., Martin left the hotel. All of a sudden, a man approached from behind, aimed the gun at Martin, and pulled the trigger, but nothing happened. It's unclear whether the gun malfunctioned or if the person hesitated. Martin did not notice anything and the man ran off. Without having a clue about what had just happened, he went off to the Boccaccio club in the town of Laren near Amsterdam. Hours later, Mr. Kok was witnessed entering the driver's side of a parked Volkswagen Polo. A figure emerged from the bushes and flashes were seen as shots were fired at Mr. Kok. A man in dark clothing with white-soled shoes was then seen fleeing the scene. Despite the police arriving within minutes, it was already too late and Martin was deceased. Zakaria, known for his ties to Ridwan Taghi's criminal network, quickly became a suspect. A movement expert analyzed the CCTV footage of the attack and initially suggested it might be Zakaria, but the evidence was not convincing. Zakaria's lawyer provided an alibi, stating he was at his mother's birthday party at the time of the murder, which led to the case collapsing due to insufficient evidence. By 2022, although prosecutors couldn't directly link Zakaria to the shooting, they charged him with involvement in Taghi's operations, including weapon storage and target scouting. They sought a prison sentence of 25 years and 8 months. His unbelievable story continues. For more intriguing tales like this, hit that subscribe button.